welcome back to the Making Finances Sexy podcast. I am Rose, the Red Queen. Come down the rabbit hole with me. I am a Phoenix Valley realtor, as well as a financial consultant and CEO of Chronica Luxury. It is my mission to help you take back your time, freedom, and fire your boss by discovering financial freedom. And of course, with me is my co-host, Miss Jess.
Hello, everybody. And I'm your Rent Rave own realtor, Jess 𝐇𝐎. I'm a certified instructor with the company 101 Financial right here in our Valley of the Sun, making it my mission to assist you in moving out of renting and into homeownership, no matter your situation. I'm ready to be your personal finance coach and your first-time home buyer specialist.
So today, Miss Jess is going to take us down the rabbit hole, as it were, of 101 Financial. What is it? What does it help you accomplish? And why should you be interested? So, Jess?
Woo! I'm fired up to talk about this. Like, very proud and thankful for this course that helped me so much achieve a lot of goals that I never thought possible, especially right out of high school when we're thrown into the world, not knowing what we're doing next, just getting a job, making money, and yeah, you know how it is, right?
Oh yeah.
But let's get right into it. So 101 Financial, it's strictly financial education. We're not like an MLM or a pyramid scheme. And wouldn't you say that the lack of financial education is a pretty big problem here, especially in the US?
It is a substantial problem. Our education in general in this country, I think, is a substantial problem, but financial education for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, that's definitely a fact. And I agree with the regular education as well. I wanted to get out of high school as quick as possible and do other things than the geometry or science and things.
All the stuff we've never used since.
Yeah, exactly. But basically what we do is we provide personal financial classes, building customized financial plans, because not everyone's situation is the same. We teach our students what's called the 4 fundamentals of finances, which includes better budgeting, credit building, smart banking, and debt elimination. We believe that this is the foundation and will help our students build a solid financial life now, so they can start planning or be more prepared to build wealth in the future, especially when they don't come from a background of financial literate family members.
Yeah, for sure. If you don't know how to budget when you're not making a lot of money, you're not going to be able to budget when you're making a ton of money. Like, if you don't have those skills, you're just constantly going to be broke, because you're constantly going to be spending what you're bringing in or more than you're bringing in, rather than keeping an eye on it and realizing where all your frivolous spending is going. So that is fantastic.
Yep, exactly. So we help our students based on their personal financial goals, like if that is getting out of debt, or the reason why I'm integrating real estate into my program is because there's a lot of people, myself included, it's hard, especially right now, to get a home and make enough money to afford that home. So that's why we want to figure out what their goals are and create like a actual plan where they can see what they're actually doing with their money to get to those goals.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of people are really uneducated in that process as well, because like when I was looking to buy a home, I thought I needed 10 to 20% down. I didn't know I could buy a home with 3.5% down. And there's just lots of changes and whatnot from when our parents bought, even, that they might not be aware of. So it's hard for them to teach us, what you need to buy a home if they're not up on the current trends or what's changed or anything like that too. So definitely goals are important. If you're not following a goal, if you're not setting yourself a roadmap, then you're just kind of shooting in the dark.
Yep. And that's what I was doing. Like, before I joined 99 Financial, that's our first course, and I'll go over it in a little bit. Before I was a student in this course, I was just swiping my credit card like, this is great, I can buy things whenever I want and everything's fine. I set up my minimum payment to my credit card. And again, I was working full time. Like I love working and stuff like that, but I wasn't paying attention to like my auto pays and things like that. So that really caught me off guard once somebody sat me down and made me, you know, look at everything and not just ignore. That really just opened my eyes to a lot of things that I was doing incorrectly when I was younger. And now I'm kind of paying for it a little bit later in life. I'm happy I caught it when I caught it, but things would be a lot better if I had done this a lot sooner, in my opinion, paid attention.
Yeah, see, I kind of took the opposite where I was like, I don't want a credit card. Like this whole credit line stuff is stupid. There's no way, people can get in trouble too easily with it. And so I didn't have credit until I was in my 30s, or maybe late 20s. And so that was kind of a factor when I was looking at getting a home loan too, because I didn't have an extensively long credit history.
Isn't that crazy? And that's a problem too.
Yeah. But I couldn't, like, every time I was like, okay, well, let me get a credit card. I couldn't get approved for a credit card because I didn't have credit. Mm-hmm. And so I eventually took out a shared secured loan to even build my credit. And then from there, I was approved a credit card. And like from there, I was actually able to start building it. And of course, it's been a pretty decent ride. Like my credit's pretty good, but there's been ups and downs. There's been times where it's like, I'm going to have to carry this balance on this credit card and I know I have to pay the interest, but it's okay. I can deal with it. I'm not like completely overdrawn, but it's a lot to manage. It's a lot to pay attention to because it's really, really easy to miss that first payment and be like, well, I'm already paying the interest, so screw it. And then next thing you know, you wake up $20,000 in credit card debt.
Yeah, absolutely. And like they say, it's okay to pay the minimum all the time, but then you're just racking up those interest charges. Like I noticed I'd make like a $30 payment to a credit card, but then I get charged like $45 right after the payment. And then when does it end? And how does that math work? Like we're just going to keep building all of this debt.
Especially with credit cards, because you're paying off, I don't remember exactly how it's phrased, but basically like until you pay all of it off, you're still paying interest on that very first one that you carried a balance on. So every payment you make is just on the new stuff and you're still accruing interest on the old stuff. Yeah, it's really dumb and it's how they get you.
Yep. And we're definitely going to have to do an episode on credit cards.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But a sad fact. So there was a survey I read up on recently by Retirement and Mortgages, and they're saying about 44% of Americans age 60 to 70 still have their mortgage, and about 17% of those surveyed that they may never pay it off. And that just breaks my heart because like when I'm older, around that age group, I don't really want to be working as hard as I am right now in my 20s and 30s. And who knows, I may not be able to work as hard as I do currently, like life events, whatever can happen. So just catching it now and becoming and paying attention to financial literacy, I just think can do all the good, and you won't be that grandpa that's still just under or climbing that mountain. And yeah, sucks.
Yeah, if I'm still working when I'm 60, it better be because I want to work, not because I have to work. And unfortunately, like that's a reality for our age group, and even now is a lot of people were told like, oh, get this job, get that pension, open that 401k with your company, blah blah blah, and that's just not good enough for retirement anymore. And a lot of companies don't even do pensions anymore. So we're being taught really, really outdated information, and it's not setting anyone up for retirement. It's setting the entire system up to fail.
Yeah, like how are these old systems going to work when like the times are constantly changing and we're going through things that we've never gone through before, like COVID and the war between Russia and Ukraine, China, like all these things, they're new things. And like we gotta learn to other ways to essentially survive.
Yeah. The last article I read on Social Security said that it'll be gone by 2035.
Yeah, and definitely if it's completely gone, that can put a lot of people in a real bad position.
Yeah.
But at 101 Financial, I understand that taking control of personal finances can seem like a daunting task. I honestly had a lot of trouble when I started paying attention to where my money was going. I would honestly get kind of mad at Kalani during, like, while I was in my web application handling all my finances, and be all irritated, like, I have no money, my cash flow is never positive, like, what the heck is going on? And I'd get angry at like him or like the things around me, but in reality it was actually me. And it was my spending habits, but now I'm actually made aware of it. And it's just nothing, it's nothing fun, and nobody wants to own up to it sometimes and see it, because it's just something we don't want to handle, especially like for the ones who are like me and just auto pay. Don't let me see it, like, just take my money and everything will be fine. But it doesn't have to be scary.
Yeah, it's like any other kind of personal growth. It's gonna suck. Especially if you buy into the whole like, oh, well, it's shopping therapy, or it's, like getting my hair and nails done is how I mentally cope, which, I mean, for some people, yeah, that might be. But a lot of people use those kind of glitchy, terms to make themselves feel better about what they're actually doing. And so it does take a fair amount of growth and self-awareness to be like, you know what, I don't need to spend $200 a week going out to lunch or whatever it might be, right? So you're gonna struggle, there's gonna be pain points, but the overall payoff is so much better than what you're doing now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the great thing about 101 Financial, compared to those other financial education programs out there, is we don't want people to stop living the way they want to live. Like, we're not like, no, you need to quit everything and save your money. Like, you just can't do anything. Like, I know there's those programs out there that you're just kind of, they're very strict on what you can and cannot do with your money. But 101 Financial, what drew me in was being able to not give up like my way of life, but just becoming more conscious. And if I was buying Starbucks or any type of coffee every day, then instead of going every day, I made coffee at home like twice a week. Or, you don't have to completely cut off everything that you love, or like you said, people's vices, getting their hair done and things like that. But you can't like have your cake and eat it too. Essentially, you need to pull back on at least a little bit of things, or just taking little steps and actions that can help benefit you and free up your cash flow.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey talks about baby steps all the time. And that's exactly what it is, right? No one's gonna wake up and be like, oh, I'm gonna get my finances under control and go militant on it and be happy about it.
Yeah.
So baby steps. That's
exactly.
all it is.
And you are gonna feel kind of quite a bit of emotions, especially once you start, and you just can't let those bring you down and just keep thinking about the end goal. And that's what I bring back to the goal setting. We really, really make it important for our students to write down their goals and to always refer back to them when they start feeling those emotions or frustrations, when things aren't going right, or they're kind of digging themselves in a hole, and you feel powerless, honestly, when you are that down in debt, and it's just not a good feeling.
Yeah. the anger and the sadness and whatnot, like it can be powerful for a lot of people, but you have to look at the long game and be like, you know what, right now it sucks, but in 3 years when, I have a car crash and I can pay the whole thing out of my bank account instead of having to deal with insurance companies, that feeling is still frustration, but not near the frustration of, oh my God, now I have this huge car repair bill and I have no way to pay it. And my insurance is going to go through the roof and I have no way to compensate that. Like, it's taking the emotion that you're feeling now and channeling it to realize that it's going to be a better emotion down the road because you're going to be so much better set off.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you brought up that example because that like exactly happened to me. But again, super grateful for this program. I don't know what I would have done if I did not have the knowledge that I do about basic personal financial care. Like, I have an emergency fund for that reason. Like, accidents do happen. I wrecked my car and another person's car, and it was my fault. And somehow, but I was very thankful that I could actually pay off that person's car and my own car without having to get insurance involved. And it was just amazing, like an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
So every instructor is a former student. So the only way to become a 101 financial instructor, you have to start as a student first, which is, in my opinion, a really good thing because at least we have all personally experienced some sort of money stress. I guess more passionate about teaching others how to break free from the money related stress and transform their lives. Our goal is to help as many people as possible just break free and actually have financial peace of mind, because that is the ultimate goal, is peace of mind.
Yeah. Well, and it's so much more authentic when you've gone through the program and you can answer questions or you can empathize with pain points in any industry, right? We used to laugh when I worked in warehousing because we would get these straight out of college people who were hired into like a high level management job. And they had no idea what the metrics they were talking about even were. And those of us that started, in the beginning, like ground zero and worked our way up, we're just laughing at them, knowing they were getting paid more than us. But we're just like, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like, how are you going to actually encourage your team to work hard and hit these metrics when you don't even know what the metric is measuring?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just so much more beneficial to know that like the person who's telling me what to do with my finances has been where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just find a lot more comfort in that and being able to relate. I love just that connection with my students and to see them kind of where I was. Like, I started the program in 2017, so it's great when I get to coach my student through like almost the same feelings that I was going through, and then just seeing the transformation from that stress and anxiety to like excitement, because they'll text me, I paid off my car, or like I'm moving out of my parents' house finally. Like, it's just it's an incredible feeling to be able to get people out of that like nasty hopelessness and just feeling like you're never gonna be better and feel better, to like, yes, I did it and I can keep doing it. And then the next thing is buy my first house.
Right.
But I never want to like force people to do this, but it's just such a good thing.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, with most of the stuff that you and I are involved with, we don't sell anything. We make sales, but we don't sell anything because we believe in what we're doing and we know what we do can help people. So we're just showing people what we're doing. And if they decide to jump on board, awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's why like the high ticket marketers always crack me up, because they're like, oh, well, you need to ask these people all these questions and like and I'm like, no, they either want it or they don't. Like, they'll ask me what I'm doing, I'll tell them. If they're interested, cool. If they're not, cool. Like, I'm not here to force a sale on anybody. But if
Yeah.
I know this can benefit you, I want to show you.
Exactly. Because I have had students that enroll with us and then kind of do 1 or 2 classes and then just fall off the wagon, which sucks because you know how much good something can do for them, and then for them to just, give up that easy. Or I understand things come up and they need to put all their attention into whatever it is that is going on in their life or current situation, but it's just a bit of a crappy feeling when like how much it can help and only benefit somebody and they don't want to do it.
Yeah, if they don't want to put in the time and effort, then you can't really make them.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna chase.
Yeah. So you told me about daily calculated interest at one point. So let's talk about that because I think that's really, really important to go over.
Yeah, so I went to my first workshop in Hawaii. I had moved there with my partner Kalani, and we literally had to sell everything just to move from here in Arizona to Maui. And it was difficult. We both found jobs right away, but we didn't feel like we were really getting anywhere. Like we made decent money and like we're taking our trips and doing things, but honestly, especially living in Hawaii, we were living paycheck to paycheck and wanted to do better. So we went to our first workshop in Hawaii for the course, and I learned about our fight against DCI, daily calculated interest. I was like, who's DCI and why is he like he needs to stop. He needs to stop taking all my money. Like
it's like that episode of Friends where Rachel gets her first paycheck and she's like, who's FICA? Why is he taking all my money?
Exactly. I was like, DCI will knock you out. But so DCI, it's based on our outstanding balances. So Rose, do you think the banks want to keep our balances as high as they can for as long as they can?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I learned that the bigger our balances, like on our credit cards, loans, mortgages, etc., the bigger the balance, the more money the banks make. And like I mentioned earlier, when I was just paying my minimum or not paying attention, but getting my bills paid so my credit score didn't plummet, I was also just here, bank, here's more money than I actually am paying you for my payment. I'm like, what the heck? So just learning little things like that. Why wouldn't you want to make a stop to it? Like now you're just wasting, and there's so many other opportunities I could actually invest that income into if I just pay attention and make minimal changes.
Yeah, I think interest is a word that is commonplace, but not commonly understood. I think people get the principle, like the basic idea of interest, but I don't think it's any fault of anybody's other than they're not taught, like we talked about. But you hear like 25% APR or whatever that is, and your brain just like, okay, cool, like don't carry a balance, fine, it's whatever. But then actually sitting down and figuring out, like, oh, that's on this balance, it's $60 a month. Like, okay, I can manage that. But then it also accumulates and accrues, and compounding interest is great if you're making it, not great if you're paying it. So I think a lot of it is just people don't understand just how crippling the interest payments alone can be. You'll understand when you get a house that your first year of payments is all interest. You're like, what the hell?
Right? The bank's got to make their money somehow.
Yeah.
Moving on. So at 101 Financial, we teach our students something that's called smart banking. And the only difference is the type of checking account. And 101 Financial, we call it a debt checking account. And there are 3 reasons why we use this. It's because 1, it's revolving. 2, and it's simple interest. So the interest is calculated on principal or the original amount of the loan. It's not like compound interest, which is the principal plus the compounding amount. So it's more money that people are paying to the banks. We like simple interest. And then
Yes.
it also has checkbook and debit card access. So the debt checking account, you can pull money out of it whenever you want slash need. And also you can make payments to it as many times as you need to, which is awesome.
Love it.
Yeah. So that brings it to the 101 financial concept, and that is using interest to pay down principal. We save our students money on interest, and we use that to pay down the principal. It creates a kind of reverse compounding situation. It helps them get out of debt or build their savings faster, essentially.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's just stuff like we weren't taught, but just taking the time to learn about it now, and I'm very thrilled that I did.
Yeah, I think anyone who's taken out a loan from like payday loans or anything like that, like they understand how crippling interest can be, because a lot of times you're looking at, well, I need to make this payment, so I'm going to take out this $200 loan, and then you end up paying back like $1,000, $2,000 just because of the interest, because again, like they're not paying attention. And I have a few friends who've gotten caught in that cycle, and thankfully they're getting themselves out now. It's a lot of stress. I have a friend who struggled with it for at least 6 years now, and just getting to the point where it's starting to pay him off, and doing the same thing, kind of the baby steps of like, all right, this is the highest one. I'm going to pay this off first and get everything. Because we even looked at, doing a blanket loan to pay off all the little ones, and then just reducing the interest payment. But his credit is not great. So of course the only people that would approve that blanket loan wanted 150% interest. So there are companies out there who take advantage of people's bad financial situation coupled with bad financial education.
Yeah.
And it's really sad.
Yeah, that brings up a good point, because when people are in those poor situations, they're not thinking straight. Like you're like, shit, I need to pay this bill, or like I need to get groceries. My family's hungry, and like you're just under all that pressure and all that stress. You're not thinking properly. And then that's when they slip into those payday loans and whatnot, and they do kind of draw you in, because you're under that stress. You just want to quickly pay that bill or go buy your groceries, and that's all you're thinking about, and you want to do it quickly.
They're profiting off of desperation.
Yeah, basically. Ouch. It's so true.
That's what it is. I mean,
It is.
Capitalism.
Yeah. Life, man. But basically, if we can keep our balances low, we're able to save a lot more money on interest, and in turn use those savings to pay down our principal. A lot of people don't have like that extra left over each month or after each paycheck, to put towards savings or towards investments if they know how to invest properly. And at 101 Financial, just learning a system that works where you can have a foolproof calculation that can help you to move money that you make from your job into a savings account, or start pouring it into your debt and paying off your high interest. We recommend your high interest debt first, going along like that, but that's one thing that's changed my life is because I never had that extra cash to move to my savings. And then all of a sudden, just changing my checking account and having somebody, another instructor guiding me through the classes and making me realize that I am making great money, but I just wasn't financially educated. But now I know what to do with my money, and I can actually start saving. And I did pay off $30,000 of my own personal debt within 2 years. Like, that stuff is just unthought of until you actually do it, and you wish you've done it sooner. Like, just taking a step and getting help and that guidance from a mentor.
Yeah, that's why you see it a lot with newly affluent individuals. Like they're trying so hard to show that they're affluent now that they end up going broke because they're putting so much money into maintaining the image and they're not maintaining their bank account. Whereas the people who, really build generational wealth and whatnot are the ones who they aren't going out and buying the flashy cars or the flashy clothes or all that stuff. Like they're monitoring what they're doing and not really changing their lifestyle just because they're making a lot more money, right? They're being smart with the money, investing it and whatnot, and making sure that they're covered. So there's a lot to be said for ignoring the societal norm of having money and just knowing that you're taken care of and calling it good, right? And for me, it's dogs, vacations, and the freedom to do whatever the hell I want during the day. Like I don't need to go out and buy, the newest Tesla or anything like that. Like I just want to spend all day with my dogs.
Yeah,
that's what I make my money for. So
yeah, exactly. And just having the peace of mind to be able to do so, like you're able to spend all the time you do with your dogs and do all the training and just live your life. And you're not like those people that do buy the flashy things, they're still stressed out about it. Anyone could make a payment, but you, on the other hand, you're smarter with your money and can enjoy all the things you do while also not stressing about it. And that's a good
because
thing.
I've got my own goals though.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's all about goals. Like what do you want to spend your money on? Like, where is your time going? Like that's the breakdown. If your end goal, because you're a frat boy from the freaking 80s and like your thing is to have all the Lamborghinis and Ferraris you want, cool. Like go for it, just plan accordingly. My money's not frat boy money.
I don't care about your Gucci Speedo.
Exactly.
So I'm going to move on to our online education platform and talk about it. So 101 Financial, we offer 3 courses. It's the 99, the 100, and the 101. They're each accompanied by a trained instructor who will guide you through all of the material, and our web application provides all the necessary tools and resources to ensure their success. And the great thing is our classes are done completely online, like over Zoom like this, and their tools and resources are all at their fingertips in their computer. We can go through it anytime, anywhere. They gain 100% 24/7 access to their instructor, like if it's me or whoever, and can text, call, like if they have questions or things going on. And that was the great thing, was when I started to spiral, when I started my 99 course about my money problems, I contact my instructor and she just calmed me down right away, and we were able to hop on. She showed me my projections and things were good again.
Okay, so I'm assuming that everyone would start with the 99 and work their way up to the 101, or is it at their discrepancy?
So we like everyone to begin with the 99 course, because this course really lays the foundation for financial education. During that course, our students are asked to complete their financial profiles to the best of their ability. There's also little like instruction videos that they can watch and refer to anytime to help them with setting up their financial profile.
So once their online profile is set up, is there like a training course after that?
Yeah, so we set up class, and when our students start, it's about 3 to 5 classes to begin with. In the 99 course, it's all depends on their financial situation. Some students stay in the 99 course for like a year. Like it really depends where their standings is. But the main goal is to graduate them to the 101 course, but that involves applying for a line of credit. And if people don't have the credit score for it yet, or their DTI or debt to income ratio is too high, like there's a lot of factors that could unfortunately stop our students from being approved, but there's no exact timeline for how long a student can be a 99 student. Like they can stay in the course forever if they want to. We have students that aren't comfortable with getting a line of credit, and we're not gonna again force them, but that's why the 99 course is so great, because you can still really fix your finances and do all the things and start saving money and being better than you were before.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So when you enroll in the 99 course, we help them automate and organize their finances. And then our course covers topics such as understanding and increasing your cash flow, improving credit, setting financial goals, and preparing for the advanced financial education. Their financial roadmap, we call it projections, but we project every income and expense coming in and out of their checking account. And we can see up a whole year. So if our students' cash flow is like negative or anything, it's awesome because we see it now, it's negative. We can make the changes now to offset, or like a better example is we see now their checking account is about to go negative, and no one wants that to happen. So if we catch it ahead of time, we can do small adjustments now so they don't get to that negative balance later.
That's awesome.
So that's the power in knowing. So you're no longer looking ahead till your next paycheck, but further into the future, which brings the peace of mind aspect when you're personally financially literate.
That's awesome.
The second course, it's the 100 course. It includes everything in the 99, plus we begin to build their personalized debt elimination plan. We teach them to use a smart credit card, but it's basically any credit card that they'd like, but we teach them how to use it properly to their advantage and not pay interest to the banks. Because again, it sucks to think like, you know, I'll just never use a credit card and things will be fine, but that's not the case. I guess we need to use these things so it helps us in the future. If the goal is to buy a house, you need to have that credit history. And credit cards aren't a bad thing when we use them properly, because they can give back rewards like bonuses, flight miles. Like there's a lot of benefits that can come from a credit card. And if we can beat the banks at their game and pay our credit card statement balance each month and not pay the interest and get all the perks, why not?
It's like anything else. You gotta be able to tell yourself no. Because I think that's where people get into a lot of trouble, is they're like, oh, I got this $10,000 credit card. This is fantastic. Oh, this came up. It's fine. And then at the end of the month, they're like, oh, what did I do? It's like, well, that's fine. I'll just pay the minimum. I'll just pay the minimum. And then, 3 years later, you're still paying off that balance because you're just paying the minimum. And
Mhm.
that's where, I know instant gratification is a thing in this day and age, but you got to start telling yourself no.
And those department credit cards, those are scary. I have
Yes.
some students, we have the Target, the Navy, the every department store, and I'm like, "Why? Why do you have this?" And they're just, yeah, paying the minimum, and they tell me, "I've had this card 5 years, 10 years," and I'm like, "And you don't feel trapped or like that just is not a good feeling to be paying a payment for 5 to 10 years." And the sad part is like most of the time they're not even using the card anymore because they want to pay it off and it's taking 5, 10, 15 years
Yeah.
and they're
Well, and
not.
a lot of that's because they're not paying attention, right? Because like usually that first year is interest free. Like I have a Best Buy credit card for that reason. That first year of any purchase is interest free. After that, I'm pretty sure the interest is stupidly high. But that's where you got to pay attention and don't just pay off the minimum, pay off that card in that year.
Yeah, before they start charging interest, but that's kind of tricky too because like I'll forget things that I'm told in a year.
Yeah. I think a lot of it starts with like instead of scheduling, you schedule it to auto pay the minimum, but then figure out what wiggle room you have and pay that extra to it.
Yeah, good advice. But after the 100 course, and a lot of times we like to integrate this 100 course with the 99 course. Again, it depends on the student situation, but if they are not in a position to get into our advanced course, we integrate this 100 course because we teach them how to find and make what we call accelerated debt payments. And this helps them to build an emergency fund as well as start moving money to their savings. We don't want to just dump the extra money that is freed up into debt right away because, you know, things happen. Maybe they go over their weekly budget more than they think or weren't paying attention and stuff like that. So just starting to build their savings account and then taking just a little bit of that at a time and shoveling away at that debt really makes our students just feel more powerful and in control of their money and get them prepared for the advanced course.
Yeah, if you can get into the principle of pay yourself first early on, you're set up so much better down the road.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And to get into the sexiest part, our 101 course, this is where we set up our students' entire smart banking system. I would help them find the right bank or credit union. I personally love credit unions. They usually have the better tools and resources compared to the bigger banks like Chase or Wells Fargo. And most of the time, those bigger banks don't offer personal lines of credit. So credit unions are usually our go-to for our students and myself included. I'm still using my credit union from Hawaii and it's fine because it does all the things I need to do. My money's working for me. So who cares?
The beauty of online banking, it don't matter.
Exactly. So we set up their entire smart banking system. We help them find the right bank or credit union. And then we also help with the application process because when I enrolled as a student, I was like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say to the banker. Like, what do I need? And it's kind of intimidating because I don't know what I need and have the bankers trying to sell me a bunch of
The
different,
flavor of the month.
yeah, exactly, whatever is gonna make them the most money that week or what they need to close their quotas and things like that. But having that instructor basically like hold your hand, but tell you exactly what you need to bring to them or what you need to make sure you have available when they ask. Same with like going through the home buying process, like having somebody to guide you through that intimidating process and advise you what you need because they've been through it or because they've helped other people with it before just takes stress off of that, more stress off of you, and you're actually, you're doing the correct thing. You're not like guessing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
After they are approved for that debt checking account, we integrate it with their financial roadmap. So seeing your income, expenses, all the good stuff year out in advance, and we just create the best personalized financial plan for them and their situation and what goals they are trying to achieve. And the only risk, I would say, in not investing into financial education is one last statistic is the average American family will pay about $670 to $1,400 just in interest per month. So
dang.
So why not just try something new and something that can make things better or even easier on you can go a long way. And I will throw this in there, but to get started in the 99 course is just one payment of $199, or we can do 4 payments of $49, and that's it.
And we will drop the link in the description, so if you guys want to check it out with Miss Jessica, you're absolutely able to. One thing I do want to add to what you just said, so one of the things that we teach with my financial consultation is the average bankruptcy could have been avoided with an extra $500 a month. So if you think about that, if you're paying $1,400 a month in interest, if you weren't paying that, there's a lot of families that would have never had to file bankruptcy. So this stuff is important, guys.
People get scared to pay that $199 sometimes, but again, you're paying more in interest each year, like $600 to $1,400 a month. That $199 can eliminate all that.
And even if you're not in debt right now, if you're looking at building your credit, like it's so much more lucrative to start building credit with all this information available than to start blind and then have to come back to this, 1, 2, 3, 5 years down the road when you are in a bad position. So, it's something everyone I wish would take the time to learn. But again, you don't know what you don't know. And unfortunately, you don't know it until it's too late.
Yep. And it's all up to you. You get what you put into it, anything really.
As our good friend Brooks would say, effort is your responsibility.
Always. Well, thank you so much for listening today. I honestly love 101 Financial and I vouch for it every day. But thank you for listening, and I hope somebody will think about it and want to make some changes.
Or share this if you know somebody that could potentially benefit.
Yeah, exactly. And next week, Rose Short is going to talk about automated online businesses.
Yes, I will be on vacation, but I will still be making money. And we're going to talk about how that is possible.
Woo.
So stay sexy.
Stay sexy.